Hi, thank you for watching our interview today. My name is Nancy Burris, broker associate with Cartwright Realty, and I'm here today with Rick Geisz. And Rick is owner of Luxe Hydration. He's a local entrepreneur here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And we're here today to meet Rick and learn a little bit more about what he does. First, Rick, before we get into your business, tell us a little bit about where you're from and what led you to St. Pete.
Sure. I'm born and raised in the Detroit area. Spent most of my life there. Prior to moving to St. Pete about a year and a half ago, I spent 8 years in downtown Chicago, living and working. And quite honestly, I always wanted to end up in Florida after a lifetime of snow and bad winters. But I didn't really know where I wanted to live. And I came to Florida, kind of looked around. And the first time I came to St. Pete, I was in downtown St. Pete and fell in love.
I bet.
And honestly, I packed up and moved. It was almost as simple as that.
Wow, I've heard that before actually, but I guess when you're leaving Chicago and you come to this weather, how could you not?
And it was more than the weather. It was the city itself.
Yeah.
I felt a real sense of community here.
Right.
It was kind of eclectic. There was a diverse group of people and just always something to do.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I love hearing that. That's one of the many things that are awesome about our city. So tell me a little bit more about your background and really what led you to this business that we're going to talk about.
Sure. So I spent 20 plus years as a procurement executive in a few different manufacturing industries. And within that role, I got to touch almost every area of the business, from negotiating contracts, of course, in the procurement side, but also product development, project management, engineering, testing.
Wow.
So in the end, I didn't know it at the time. I was kind of training to start this business, which I didn't realize until very recently.
Well, that's excellent training. So you really did all aspects of it before you said, I'm going to
I did.
this
So
on
which was
myself.
great because throughout the process of launching this company, I'm kind of seeing all these things that I've done in the past, but just presented in a different way.
Now it's all coming together for you.
Exactly.
We said the name of your company was Luxe Hydration. So can you tell us a little bit more about your business? Describe it to us.
Sure. So we manufacture reusable stainless steel water bottles as an eco-friendly replacement for the single-use plastic bottle.
Interesting. And what made you decide to open this business? Very curious.
Yeah. So I was never really satisfied with the bottles that were on the market. If I wanted to get a premium quality water bottle, stainless steel water bottle, they cost upwards of $50.
Right.
Which never made much sense to me why they had to cost so much money. But also this $50 water bottle never really felt that good to hold in my hand. It felt almost like cheap plastic. So I'm paying $50 for a stainless steel water bottle that didn't really feel that great. So I set out to create a premium quality yet affordable stainless steel water bottle that not only looked good, but also felt good.
That's interesting.
To touch. So all of our products have a specially formulated surface coating that feels or mimics the feeling of soft leather.
Oh, wow.
It's not actually leather, but it mimics the feeling. So it's super durable, it's waterproof, chemical resistant, mar and scratch resistant, but it feels really nice to hold.
Oh, that's interesting. They come in lots of different colors and things like that as well.
Exactly. So the first bottle we have coming out is a 17-ounce, kind of your 17-ounce standard size water bottle.
Okay.
It'll be in 4 different colors to start.
Cool.
And we have additional products right now in development.
Interesting. So I have heard a little bit of information about plastic water bottles and why they can be so dangerous, and especially if they've been sitting a long time in maybe heat or, in the storage facility or whatever it might be. So can you tell everyone a little bit more about the dangers of those plastic water bottles and what makes yours so much healthier for us as well?
Sure. So the single-use plastic bottle, there's really 2 main impacts. There's an environmental and then a health.
Right.
From the environmental side, the majority of the bottles end up getting thrown away, not recycled. Only about 10% of all plastic bottles get recycled. And there's 67 million single-use plastic bottles thrown away every day. Wow. Which is astounding. And unfortunately, the majority or a large percentage of those find their ways to our oceans and waterways, which end up killing over 1 million marine animals a year. Sure. So there's serious impact. And a stainless steel, water bottle can replace on average of 156 single-use bottles a year. It's a
Wow.
really big impact from an environmental standpoint.
That's interesting. It always drives me crazy when I see people throwing their plastic water bottles in the trash. I'm
Exactly.
like, just hold on to them and throw them in the recycle. I'm actually pretty good about that because it's something personal to me. I get so frustrated with that. So this would solve that problem. We wouldn't see all those plastic water bottles. So
Exactly.
that's definitely how it impacts the environment. And how about to our bodies? I mean, I know I've heard, like I said, the plastic can, and please correct me if I'm wrong, plastic can kind of get into the water itself. And
Exactly.
what's
So
the
there's
impact of
there's
that?
a couple chemicals in single-use plastic bottles, BPA and antimony,
Okay.
both of which, if exposed to over a long period of time, is definitely not good for you. It can
Right.
cause some serious health issues,
Mhm.
especially as you mentioned, if they sit around and get
Get hot
reused,
and
and if they
yeah.
get
Oh,
hot,
or reused
it
too. That makes
reused
sense.
over and over. It just keeps degrading the bottle. Whereas stainless steel, our bottles are made with the highest grade, food grade stainless steel, so
Mhm.
there's absolutely no interaction
Mhm.
or chemical seeping or anything. So it's completely healthy.
That's awesome. So that kind of leads me. You almost hit on what I was going to ask you is what makes your bottles different, than some of the other ones. You hit on that a little bit, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that. What makes your bottles different than the others?
So I think our value proposition is really premium quality
Hmm.
at an affordable price.
Okay.
That's really everyone has the opportunity to buy it. But just for example, I mentioned the $50
Hmm.
water bottle, the standard size. Our equivalent standard size will be $25.
Okay.
So it's approachable
Mhm.
and affordable to everyone, really. And again, the surface coating that we're using, the specially formulated coating, that just gives that really nice feeling
Mhm.
of soft leather.
Hmm.
It's not slippery, plasticky feeling. It's really nice to hold. So
Hmm.
because there's bottles on the market today that look good,
Right.
but there's more than just the sense of sight.
Hmm.
There's touch, and so
Right.
we touch on that or incorporate that into our bottles as well.
That's interesting. Yeti, I have to mention Yeti because that comes to mind, and I know it became very, very popular and actually quite trendy. Um, so I'm thinking, do you see that as a bonus, like with the feel and the touch and the colors? Do you think your company you can capitalize on that a little bit and make kind of trendy and kind of take over that kind of
Well, I'm kind of
Yeti
hoping
buyers?
to be more of a not quite a trend, because with trends sometimes they peak and then they fall.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that because of our value proposition that we
Mhm.
just talked about, the feel of the bottle, and then the fact that it is affordable and premium quality will allow us to be more of a lifestyle brand where people
Right.
will keep coming back for as we come out with more products and different
Mhm.
colors and that kind of thing.
That's interesting. I can't wait to see them. Actually, that's really cool. Or to feel it. I've never felt a stainless steel water bottle that was soft, so that will be
Well, I have
interesting.
one with me if you'd like to feel it.
Absolutely, yes. Before we leave, don't
Okay.
forget to do that for sure. That would be great. I'm a runner too, so I would think running that would be a lot easier to hold something with that.
It gives you a nicer grip for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. So tell me a little bit some personal habits or traits that you have that you think might help others to be successful in their businesses. I mean, you've sounds like you have huge knowledge in what you're doing. So what are some traits that you could bring to the table that would help someone else?
Yeah, I think persistence.
Okay.
I mean, quite honestly, the development process has been long, and
Right.
there's been more things to go wrong than went right.
Hmm.
And just being persistent, not letting those failures discourage me, it more motivated me to learn something from why did we fail, why didn't that work, and then apply that to the next round. So I just say for anybody, really, any part of life, it's just don't get discouraged by the failures. Learn
Sure.
from it and push through.
Sure, that makes sense. And actually, it sounds like your background, in that trial and error process kind of really prepared you for this
It
as
definitely
well.
helped. It definitely helped. You have to have thick skin too, because failure, it can get
Yeah.
you down, but
Get
it
frustrated.
just motivated me every day to get up and how do we solve this problem?
Yeah. So I mean, and certainly I'm sure that your desire to solve problems helps motivate you. But what else in addition to that keeps you motivated and keeps you going through all of those failures and pushing through for this to become a success?
Honestly, there's such a sense of satisfaction
Mhm.
and pride really with creating something
Mhm.
that didn't exist. I mean, I didn't invent the water bottle,
Right.
but I created one that did not exist before.
Mhm.
And so just a little story, when I first received the first prototype, even though 9 out of 10 things on that prototype were wrong, it was still, I felt a huge sense of pride that I created this, and it was almost like my baby. I was, holding it and, oh, look at this. This is
awesome.
mine. And that's what drives me every day is just creating something and that personal sense of satisfaction that I didn't really get working for somebody else or to make someone else's company successful.
Sure. It's funny too, because I always have these great ideas and I think I could make them. I'm always like, oh, this is a great idea. I'm going to do this. And then I start thinking about it, or you start the patent process, which I've tried once before. And you're like, wow, it's a lot harder than it seems. It takes a lot more than just an idea. So you've apparently nailed that.
There is a lot to it for sure.
Yeah. And what do you find in this business is your greatest challenge? I mean, I know you're just getting this off the ground, so you might not even hit that. But at this point, what is your greatest challenge?
The sales and marketing side.
Okay.
I spent my career on the other side of the table from that. So, and specifically social media. Like Instagram, for example, personal Instagram is a much simpler thing than the business side of Instagram. Sure. And that's something that I'm going to need to spend more time and resources on in the future to really get up to speed
or
on.
Outsource. Or outsource. I cannot, technology is not my forte. So that's one of those things that I would prefer to outsource. So finally, where do you see your business going in the next where do you envision this in the next several years?
Well, aside from expanding the product line, which we're doing now, I'd like to see a distribution outside of the US and Canada, which is where I'm focusing now. But also, I'd like to grow locally. And what I mean by that is our bottles will be sold in a local fitness studio cool. Here. And that really, I hadn't put much thought into kind of taking that avenue, but they reached out to me. And I just, the more I thought about it and had conversations, the one thing I mentioned I liked about St. Pete so much was the sense of community.
Right.
And if I can work with more small businesses locally owned and operated, we can help each other grow. And that's something I like to expand on.
That's so cool. And that's what we're doing here today. Exactly with that format. A place, when you said the fitness centers, it made me think of runs. Like I said, I was a pretty avid runner, and it would be a great place to set up a stand there at a booth at any of the running events.
Exactly. No, there's a lot of opportunity because water is universal.
Sure.
Have it. Everybody has to have it, and it's just anybody can use it, and everybody needs it.
And it's better to have it safely, and help our environment along the way.
Absolutely.
So, cool. Well, Rick, I want to thank you so much for getting to know you a little bit more and being here today and telling us more about your company, Luxe Hydration. And how can people reach out to you? I know I will have a link on parkbench.com/historic St. Petersburg, but you want to tell me your website or?
Sure. The website, it's just a kind of a coming soon page right now. It's luxehydration.com. We hope to be fully operational by the 1st of July. We're on Instagram, Luxe Hydration, Luxe with an E, Luxe Hydration. And you can email me directly at info@luxehydration.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rick. We really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thanks.